Hello and welcome back to another episode of Eat the Blank Page with me, Victor Rowe, your author friend, your writer friend. I'm your pal. Hey, what's going on? I guess. We got a lot to talk about today because I have been very, very bad. I haven't recorded in a month or so, and I apologize. I wanted to, but a lot of life things had popped up, and we're still pretty small, so I didn't feel compelled to tweet out that I was going to be taking a month off. Apologize, but I'm back in action for episode 17. Let's get it. So while I was on break, I went to go see a few movies that I haven't seen anyone else talking about, and it's upsetting. It's not that I'm crying in the corner about it, but it's like Agent Argyle or whatever. It's Argyle, released a week or two ago, and a little bit more recently, Lisa Frankinstine released a little bit ago. And I want to talk about those two things because as someone who describes himself as a storyteller, why do I describe myself as a storyteller and not an author or a playwright or a musician or whatever? Because I'm not against making a video game. I'm not against making a movie, being a director, storyboarding a cartoon. I'm not against any of those things. I'm a big details guy, right? So I want to be as precise as I can. And that's kind of how I attack my writing. But why do I describe myself as a storyteller? Because I want to be as accurate as possible when describing what I do. I'm an author, yes. I'm getting a book out. It's called Doppler House. It's great. But I'm also a playwright. I'm not against making a movie. I'm not against shooting videos. I'm not against making a video game or helping with the story of a video game or telling a story through musical pieces and showing symbolism and evolutions of concepts. I'm not against any of those things. So to call myself an author would be limiting to myself. To call myself a playwright would be limiting to myself. So to cover all of my bases, I am a storyteller. And I'm very comfortable with that. I believe it shows truly how I feel about the work that I do. Whether I'm on Wattpad testing out a plot idea, whether I'm making an actual novel or a book of short stories or just some random little whatever, that's what I do, and that's what I appreciate. Making a play would be honing in on the same thought processes and attitude that I would have attacking a book or a weekly entry story thing. If you want those, let me know. But that is why I consider myself a storyteller more than anything else. So with that, when I go to the movies, which I love going to the movies, I'm an AMC's A-list Stubs Rewards member. Come at me. It's a wonderful program, by the way. If you haven't looked into it, you get 3 free movie tickets a week. I'm not sponsored by them, but I totally would be if they wanted to sponsor me. So I go all the time with my partner, and we saw Agent Argyle. And more recently, we saw Lisa Frankinstine. Hence why I want to talk about those two things. Let's start with Agent Argyle because it was the first one that I watched. I, just like everyone else, spoiler alert for both of the movies. I'm going to be talking a lot about them. So this is your warning now. Bee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Spoiler warning. Okay. Agent Argyle. It was amazing. It was so good. And I can't get across that thought more than this, right? Okay, so going into the movie, everyone and their mom thought that Agent Argyle was going to be a story about a author That's why I liked it. An author that was accidentally telling actual true events in her spy novels and gets abducted by one of the agencies, like the good guys, and is being hunted by one of the bad guys. That's what everyone thought it was going to be because that's what the trailers kind of pointed towards. But instead of that, we got a much more, I can't say traditional because I haven't watched the older spy films, but of my knowledge, a much more traditional spy flick, because not only did it fulfill what you thought it was going to be for like a third of the movie, it spent the second third revealing that she the main character is Agent Argyle, and her parents are like actually like the main bad guys of the whole evil organization that grabbed her right when she lost her memory so that she became an author to rewrite the story because it was her memories. And then she's Agent Argyle, and now it's just a spy flick with the guy who like rescues her in the beginning being like her like boyfriend, and she's actually like the best spy there is and all this stuff. And then like you think about what was happening earlier and you're like, oh my God, that's why he was so frustrated with her for being like a scaredy cat or whatever. That's why she was able to do XYZ. And it was so fun because it constantly went, okay, so I know you think you know what's going on, but you see this little detail right here? We're just gonna and rip the whole rug out from under you. And it happens like 3 times. And you would think this would only happen once or twice at most. 3 times. And the last one, in her mind, Henry Cavill is like from the trailers and stuff, is Agent Argyle. So that's what she pictures whenever she's writing the stories, which are actually her memories, yada yada. Kind of like a self-insert subconsciously, and she like hallucinates and sees him do things, and it's actually really funny. There's some really good moments from it. But they have Henry Cavill show up at the end of the movie as not that, but some like country bumpkin guy who comes in and is like, I'm sure you got some questions for me. Like, shut the fuck up. What? And then the after credits scene is like the beginning. I think it references the Kingsman or it ties itself to the Kingsman franchise, but it's like, hey, here's a bar called the King's Man. And then young Henry Cavill, I guess, shows up to the bar and is like ordering a secret drink that's actually the guy gives him a box, and now he has a pistol, and it's like, oh. And then it says the Agent Argyle movie series is coming out soon or whatever, like book 1 of the 5 books, with the 5th being Argyle, the one that, I got to go see, or that you guys got to go see. And those aren't even the big plot rug pulls. The big plot rug pulls are of course, just like the reveal of like, hey, your books are real events. And then it goes from there, she gets rescued or whatever, straight to just like bonding with this guy or whatever. And then he says something like, oh yeah, she needs a bullet in the head, to someone on the phone. And then she runs back to her mom and dad. At this point, we've already met the evil guy, and he like shoots someone or whatever. But the mom and dad show up, and the dad is the main evil guy. What? Oh, God. He doesn't know. And then it's revealed that he does know, and all that stuff. It's like, how do you get out from there? That's the first major rug pull. Is like, oh my God, what is going on? Second one is, hey, You're actually Agent Argyle. Sorry. Because Samuel L. Jackson's character is like, it's time for you to meet the real Agent Argyle. And then he like pulls up her file from when she was a spy of like, hey, this is you, blah, 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 blah. And then like the story becomes like her becoming her old self and her acquiring her old abilities or whatever. And then it's like, hey, she's actually a double agent for the bad people. Pretty funny, huh? And then you like think she turns bad, and then it's like, oh, our main character is now the villain, and we're following the guy who saved her at the beginning. And it's like, oh, actually, no, she's a double agent who is working for the good guys, and they have this crazy good like fight sequence, like shootout scene that carries on for a very fun few minutes where there's like colored smoke and dancing with shooting, and then like she like ice skates on a giant ground floor of oil, and it's just so fucking cool. It's so cool, and it was fun. It was very, very fun. But that was one of the main things I really appreciated about the story. Not one, but like everything I just talked about was a huge thing that I appreciated from the movie. That they didn't give me everything that I wanted when I saw the trailer. They knew what they were doing with the trailer. The main point of having a trailer is to tease the movie, right? It's to say, hey, here's what the movie is kind of about. Here's the feel, roughly. Here's some of the main characters. We hope you come and watch it. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to go, hey, here's a loose idea of the plot. Here's a loose idea of the characters. Here's why you need to come watch this movie. And they didn't give that. They gave something better because it got you to the theater and then went, hey, you know the thing that you thought you knew? Fuck you. You don't know anything. And that's exactly what they said. That's exactly what they did. And so they understood the assignment so well because the trailer got everyone to the theater, and then they gave more. It's the giving more that I feel a lot of movies lack. Like, wouldn't it have been so cool that for the third How to Train Your Dragon movie, they didn't show the white girl dragon? And you're watching this movie and you're like, oh my gosh, it's another Training Dragons movie? This is so cool, you know? Oh, bad guy. Oh, he's different than the last two bad guys. And so this will be fun. And then they there's a female Night Fury called a Light Fury, and they like got a breed now. That would be awesome. Wouldn't it have been so cool if more movies did that? Where it was like, it just didn't give away the whole plot. I feel like every movie trailer does that now. Like, I watched the movie trailer and I feel like I already saw the fucking movie. It's just a breath of fresh air to not be spoon-fed the whole movie's plot in the trailer, because that's not what a trailer does. It's not a quick little brush through the highlights of the movie. It's supposed to get you in the theater. It's supposed to say, hey, here's the vibe, here's the characters, here's the story, have fun. And there's no more fun. That's why I stopped watching trailers to begin with. And the only trailers I see now are the ones that I watch while I'm at the movie theater. You'll be hard-pressed to see me looking up a trailer anymore. Unless it was like a really funny one or like a really, really good one. You know? It's just... It didn't give you everything. And it was so nice. Because they tailored it to still be like, hey, this could be a movie. And everyone went in thinking that that's what it was. Because they knew what we were going to think. An author who writes a spy series that gets abducted by the spy organization she was actually writing about because she accidentally guessed it. That's an amazing plot for a movie. But they didn't just do that. They didn't just settle there. They added to the idea that they gave us. So what I like to see from these movie trailers are just enough for us to know what it's about, but leave some surprises for the screen. Leave some moments when you're watching the movie to go, oh, that'd be so cool. You know who didn't do that? The Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And I'm sorry to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's again. I'm sorry. It's a huge part of my life and a huge reason why I started doing writing and storytelling. And I'm sorry that this is the idea, or this is the example that I came up with. But the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer shows Springtrap. Ugh, why would you show Springtrap? Why? Why would you show Springtrap? He's not in the first games. He has no ties to the first games other than he's just the purple guy. The purple guy in the games shows up in game 2 and is there until today. So for the first movie of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise of movies, because they're gonna make more. It made too much money. In about the game that's not supposed to have the purple guy in it, why the fuck are you gonna put the purple guy in there? And if you are, why are you gonna show it in the trailer? It was the last little thing of him ripping out the knife of the trailer. It would have been such a good trailer if they didn't put that in there, because when I got to the movie theater all excited, I was ready for Five Nights at Freddy's 1. I was ready for this guy surviving a pizzeria. I wasn't ready for the first 3 games to be just smushed into one movie, because the third game ends with the death of Purple Guy. He becomes Springtrap. So it's like, why are we ending the first movie with it? And if we are, it would have been such a cool reveal. It would have been so cool to be in the theater. And then, oh my God, Purple Guy shows up. It would have been nice to just have him be like there. Like he in the movie, he was the job coordinator guy. So it's like, okay, in the first movie, it's the job coordinator guy. And then, unexpectedly in the second movie, it's revealed that he's actually the purple guy. Cool. But if you're going in there with that expectation, the sting of and the fear of having him in the Springtrap suit show up and whip out a knife on you would be so much better. It would just be so much more, and I feel like that's something that's missing from a lot of movies and movie trailers, is just that aspect of more that, I've been talking about. That rant aside, I think Agent Argyle Argyle was a very, very good movie. It really brought my appreciation for spy genres, or the spy genre, up a few notches, where it's like, okay, I see why people like spy thrillers and stuff, because I never went into a spy movie not knowing what was going to go on. And honestly, I wasn't expecting a spy movie. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't kind of like, twists and turns and whatever. So I don't know what the general consensus is, but I like the movie very, very much. With that being said, Lisa Frankinstine is another movie that I don't think a lot of people went to go see at all, or even just cared. When I saw, that's actually an opposite example of Argyle, where Argyle's trailer kind of made the movie better because it didn't give away everything. I think Lisa Frankinstein's trailer gave the wrong idea for what kind of movie it was going to be. I went into Lisa Frankinstine thinking that she dug up the body. Also, spoilers for Lisa Frankinstine. She dug up the body of the guy that she had a crush on that was dead, and then threw him in the tanning bed, sparked him to life, did the whole mad scientist thing for herself. I thought it was going to be very women empowering movie. Not to the levels of Barbie, but hey, she made her own Frankenstein boyfriend because it's like a rom-com, but it's like dark and edgy. I like that idea that she would just did it herself because it gave that level of this is a story, not this is something real that happened, that I kind of appreciate in a lot of movies or a lot of stories where it's like I feel like with the rise of the Avengers movies and Marvel movies as a whole, they've taken the fantastical and the imaginary and tried to base it in reality, and it takes away from what they were trying to go away from to begin with. Because in the comics, it's very like, oh, Thor is just magic. And it's like, no, Thor is actually an alien from far, far away that has different biology and this and that. And there's actual rules and regulations and spells and shit. But that took away the fantastical. And the fantastical is supposed to be like, you don't know anything. You don't know everything. You just know that this is the rule. And I think that's why a lot of people like D&D. But like going into the physics of like, hey, how does Spider-Man's web fluid work? It's like, why are we spending so much time on how it works? And just get on with the fact that he can shoot webs and swing. I love details. This is a guy who loves those details, loves going into it, loves thinking about the realistic parts of, hey, how would this fantastical thing actually work in science? You know, I love game theory, and that's what it used to talk about a lot in the earlier days. But too much of that rips away all of the imagination from whatever story that you're looking at. And so I thought it was going to be a lot of fun to just watch her go, yeah, I'll just dig it up. And she digs it up and she hauls the body to the tanning bed, sparks it up. And now she has like a dead boyfriend that she's like teaching to be normal again because it got messed up because it's been dead for so long. And it's like, haha, he's old and a zombie basically. And she's just crazy in love with him. And it was going to be super, super cute. And it turned into like, dude got friend zoned for most of the movie, and then they fell in love with each other. Like, I was super ready for them to just be in love with each other from the rip. I thought it was going to be very refreshing to see a rom-com like that, because usually it's just like how it was, is they're not together. One of them wants to be together. One of them is like, whatever. I like this other dude or girl. And then through some series of events, they like fall for each other or whatever. And I like the movie still. It was very, very funny. I liked the vibe. The main girl was very relatable. Even like for me, and I'm not a dude. They wrote her, I felt very well. And with my partner, she was like, I feel that. Because they were talking about like girl problems, you know? There was a lot of commentary on like accepting people for who they are, missed meetings and stuff. And it wasn't like a 10 out of 10 perfect movie, but it was good. I had a lot of fun going. And you know who else had a lot of fun going? 3 other people in the theater. Why the hell was no one in the Lisa Frankinstine theater? I saw it release day. The day it premiered, I went to go see it, and there was 5 people in that theater, including me. It's a good movie. It's very, very good. It takes place in the 80s. The main villain gets axed by the love interest, and it's cute if you're into like that gothy, witchy aesthetic, which I personally am. And it has like darker themes and senses of humor and very, very intentionally cringy moments, which is hilarious. God, go watch that movie. It is a good movie. They did a very good job with it. And it's like, yeah, I like seeing original IP. I love seeing that. Like the horror movie Imaginary coming out. Like I love seeing something fresh, something new, something that isn't a Marvel movie. But yeah, why am I talking about movies? Why do I care about movies? It's because you can learn a lot from storytelling from any type of story. So you don't need to just read books to learn about how to write a book. You don't need to just read books or just watch movies to learn how to make a movie. There are lessons that can be learned from any story, and it's all about how we transfer that lesson into the medium that we're working with. So what they did with Argyle was bait everyone with just the best hook I've seen in a very, very long time. And then they subverted expectation, they gave more, and they enhanced the story with it. They didn't take away from what it originally was, because it's not like they're like, hey, come see this, and then it wasn't that. It was that for a bit. For like half the movie, that's what it was. And then they hit you with a twist. It was well-paced. It was well-timed. There was a lot of confusion, which like put you in the shoes of the main character, who was going through a lot of confusion and learning a lot of things very, very fast. But they did a good job of, as she was really coming to terms with it, really explaining what was going on. So you always knew what was going on. And as a storyteller, I can learn that your hook is only as good as how you use it. So I can't tell you that this lady is a freaking fortune teller. I can tell you that, but I need to deliver that. I need to give you that. And if I want to make it something else, there needs to be a point in which it changes. It can't just be, I can't lie about with my hook. Like I can't tell you it's going to be one thing and then give you something completely different. So with what a hook is, if I were to talk about my book Doppler House, I would tell you about how Detective Benny Torres is investigating her friend Connor's house because she suspects doppelgangers have taken over her friend. And if I'm following the lesson that Agent Argyle has taught me, that's all I'm going to give you. There's the detective who receives a clue informing her that her friends are going to be taken over by doppelgangers. And she has to go and rescue them, but she doesn't know if they're taken or not. And it's like you see her like try to piece together the story, really try to like find out who's who, all that kind of stuff. And if you're interested in that, down below is a link to my personal account or my mainly an author account. I don't know. It's where I'm promoting everything to do with Doppler House, which is, my first book. It's very big. It's very exciting. I'm very excited about it. A lot of people are getting very into it. I always use the tagline of it's doppelganger love story. That's very The Shape of Water, and also If the Thing was a love story. That's kind of how it is. And I'm very proud of it. I hope you guys like it. It's releasing in a month. So, countdowns are going. Yeah, go check it out there. The link will be in the description. Again, I have plenty of teaser videos. I have of like my favorite quotes as little videos if you want to see those and get like a feel for the story. So Agent Argyle and Lisa Frankinstine were actually a lot of fun to go see. So if you guys haven't gone to see that, go check it out before it's out of theaters. And if it is out of theaters by the time you're hearing this, just watch it on Netflix or something. I'm sure it's there. Yeah. So there is no page eater prompt for this week, but I do want to tell you guys, and there's also not going to be a news segment. I'm just going to tell you guys what's going on. So I'm releasing the podcasts every week, once a week on Tuesday. And I went from 2 days a week to 1 day a week because of the workload. And I'm in kind of the most stressful part of getting this book out to you guys, where I don't know anything about publishers. I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know anything about how to get books on shelves, how to get it into the hands of you guys who actually want to read it. And I'm learning as much as I can, and I'm trying as hard as I can. And the things I do now that aren't pertaining to that is to purely build a fan base behind just me, my name, the things that I write, and the stories that I tell. So what I'm asking for is, if you know anyone who you think would enjoy the podcast, or if you go check out my personal channel, anything that I post there, if you want frequent updates about the book or about just the podcast in general, things I'll probably be talking about, things I'm doing in my day as a writer, please go check out my other social medias. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and Twitter. Twitter's the main thing that I like. I'll be like, hey, I'm thinking about this. So it would help out immensely if you just share it to a few people, because I'm still excited to hit double digits with the views on the podcasts. And I'm trying to make them better. And I'm glad you guys are here for the ride. I truly am. Because my main thing that I want to do with being a writer is to change people's lives. I want to inject myself into someone's life and my thoughts and my writing and my characters and my story to entertain, to teach lessons, to just have fun, learn about ourselves, have a place to put the things that I learn and the experiences that I've had and just the worlds that I can make up, I believe are something special. And I hope you guys see that too. I hope I'm not being very like, oh, high and mighty, like, oh, I'm the best, whatever. But my goal is to be an author, a playwright, movie director, a lead storyboard director guy for like a video game. I want to make stories that you guys appreciate, like how a lot of people appreciate Halo, how a lot of people appreciate the Witcher franchise, the Hunger Games franchise. I want to get my stories out there to you guys. Hopefully you can have fun along the way with me. I can be there for when I release the books and stuff. It's weird saying it, because I kind of feel like, well, look at me, I'm so cool. But you know, there's no other way I can say it than I want to affect people with my writing, with my stories. Because I'm a storyteller. That's what I am. Gosh, I edit these, but I'm looking at 41 minutes right now. That's crazy. I think that's all it's going to be for today. Sorry for no page user prompt. Sorry for no news flash. But just be on the lookout for shorts coming out, videos coming out. And if you're on the Twitter, I'll actually be tweeting about some of the things I'm going to be talking about. I don't want this to be this podcast is for blank, or this podcast will help you with this. Because my favorite podcasts are usually story podcasts, where it's like a D&D podcast that has like a narrative, or it's just people of a specific field talking just about stuff, you know? And that's more what I want to do. And hopefully you guys like that. So that's all the time I have for today's episode of Eat the Blank Page with me, Victor Rowe, your storytelling best friend. Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, hope everyone had fun. I definitely did. It's good to be back. I'm going to be back on regular weekly episodes every Tuesday as soon as I can. So it's either 12 a.m. or like today. Like I'm recording it and then I'm immediately editing it and posting it because I was bad this weekend. But hope everyone has a wonderful time. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.